number of the Trump tariffs in place. So how do you respond?
Well, let's be clear that
now that's key. Let's go ahead and listen to what the moderator said, because again, you guys, well, let's be fair. He just said that the Biden administration did keep in place some of the tariffs that Trump did. Okay, this is why you have to listen to both sides. You can't just be so ear to one side. Listen. And then she's got to explain this. If Ms. Harris was just saying there's a problem with those tariffs that he wants to put in place, and then now he's going to discuss what about those tariffs that Trump put in place, but you still are using those. So that's a fair question. If you have a problem with it, why are we still working with it? And she's got to answer that.
Trump administration resulted in a trade deficit, one of the highest we've ever seen in the history of America. He invited trade wars. You want to talk about his deal with China? What he ended up doing is, under Donald Trump's presidency, he ended up selling American chips to China to help them improve and modernize their military.
Wow.
Basically sold us out.
Wow.
When a policy about China should be in making sure the United States of America wins the competition for the 21st century, which means focusing on the details of what that requires, focusing on.
You guys, she actually did not say why he kept the tariff, why the Biden administration kept the tariffs in place. She did not say why. Now, I am rooting for Harris, but we still got to keep it honest on this platform. We not biased. We here for truth. And I wish she would have answered that directly as to why you kept them in place. The ones that you kept in place, she could have said, well, we kept these in place because these were beneficial to us, but she went and did just like Trump did. This is why I said this whole debate to me was an embarrassment.
On relationships with our allies, focusing on investing in American-based technology so that we win the race on AI, on quantum computing, focusing on what we need to do to support America's workforce so that we don't end up having on the short end of the stick in terms of workers' rights. But what Donald Trump did, let's talk about this, with COVID, is he actually thanked President Xi for what he did during COVID. Look at his tweet. Thank you, President Xi, exclamation point, when we know that Xi was responsible for lacking and not giving us transparency about the origins of COVID.
President Trump, I'll let you respond.
First of all, they bought their chips from Taiwan. We hardly make chips anymore because of philosophies like they have and policies like they have. I don't say her because she has no policy. Everything that she believed 3 years ago and 4 years ago is out the window. She's going to my philosophy now. In fact, I was going to send her a MAGA hat. She's gone to my philosophy. But
I cannot, y'all. Y'all look at this. This is what we have to look for as far as one of these individuals being the great leader of the United States of America. And this is why I said the other countries are probably laughing at us. Just ridiculous. When is America going to get it together and put a serious person in the serious seat of the presidency? When are we going to do that? I'm going to play a little bit more of this, and then I'm going to go to some clips that we have to share. And then I'm going to share with you guys the 10 top things that both of these candidates have to discuss and what they have to say on them for America.
But if she ever got elected, she'd change it. And it will be the end of our country. She's a Marxist. Everybody knows she's a Marxist.
Oh,
her
Lord.
father's a Marxist professor in economics, and he taught her well. But when you look at what she's done to our country, and when you look at these millions and millions of people that are pouring into our country monthly, where it's, I believe, 21 million people, not the 15 that people say, and I think it's a lot higher than the 21. That's bigger than New York State pouring in. And just look at what they're doing to our country.
But you guys, correct me if I'm wrong and let me know in the comment section. Didn't Trump say before he got in office and when he was in office that he was going to build a wall?
They're criminals. Many of these people coming in are criminals. And that's bad for our economy, too. You know, you mentioned before, we'll talk about immigration later. Well, bad immigration is the worst thing that can happen to our economy. They have, and she has, destroyed our country with policy that's insane. Almost policy that you'd say they have to hate our country.
President Trump, thank you. Lindsay?
I want to turn to the issue of abortion. President Trump, you've often touted that you were able to kill Roe v. Wade. Last year, you said.
All right, guys. So I put the link in the description. You guys can take a look at that. Hey, Vaughn, thank you for being here as well. Like I said, I'm not going to run the whole thing. It's an hour and 45 minutes. And I know y'all have a lot of stuff to do. And we've got a couple more shows I need to do tonight. But I'm going to run some of these clips that I want to share with you guys. But I do invite you guys to really sit and listen to that entire debate. You may have to pray to get through it, but you do need to listen to that entire debate. And I want you guys to look at the character of the president, Vice President Biden, Vice President Harris. Look at the character look at the character of Vice President Harris. Look at the character of former President Trump. And just determine, and while y'all determining, please pray, because this is just a lot. Now I'm going over here to CNN because CNN had a few clips that they wanted to share about reactions of these candidates. And I thought it was interesting to share this with you guys as well, because remember what I stated, you can tell a lot by what a person says without even a word that they say. So let me go ahead and share this first one with you. This has to do with what Trump said to Harris when they were during this debate, as far as kind of hushing her.
She's been against it for 12 years. Defund the police. She's been against that forever. She gave all that stuff up very wrongly, very horribly, and everybody's laughing at it, okay? They're all laughing at it. She gave up at least 12 and probably 14 or 15 different policies. Like, she was big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out. Wait a minute. I'm talking now. If you don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar? She went out.
The behavior, you guys. Insane. Right, Vaughn. I'm voting for Jesus Christ. All of the ground is sinking sand. Oh my goodness. Let's take another look at another video here. And y'all let me know y'all thoughts on this one right here. There's a gentleman that said that he watched and he fact-checked the false debates on here. And I want to share this with you guys here as well. All right. So let me go ahead and pull this one up so y'all can take a look at this. It says, watch Daniel Dale fact check Trump's false debate claim. And this is important, you guys, because a lot of times people don't fact check stuff and they just go based on what someone's saying and it's not true. And then that person later on, when they're questioned about it, will simply come up and say, hey, I didn't say that. That's not what I said. You misinterpreted what I said. That's why it's always best to fact check. All right,
black that she put out.
All right, so let me go ahead and bring this on the screen so y'all can see this. All right, so let's go.
And I'll say that. And then I read that she was black. People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go. And the people that do go, she's bussing them in and paying them to be there. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs. The people that came in, they're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
Just a few of the claims, false claims, that Donald Trump made last night. CNN senior reporter, resident fact checker Daniel Dale is with us. You have been busy, my friend.
I have, sir. The fact check story of the night was the staggering dishonesty of former President Trump. I counted at least 33 false claims from him, and I think that might be a generous count, versus 1, maybe 2 false claims from Vice President Harris, though she did also add a smattering of misleading or lacking in context claims. Let's go through this wild list of false Trump claims, John. Some of them are just egregious lies. On the economy, he said tariffs do not raise prices on Americans. They do. He said his tariffs raked in hundreds of billions of dollars from China. Americans paid those billions. He said all of the jobs created under Biden and Harris are merely bounce back jobs from his administration. No, today's number is millions higher than back then. He said we have the worst inflation ever. No, the U.S. record is 23.7%. It is 2.9% today, down from a Biden-Harris era peak of 9.1%. He said there was no inflation when he was president. Prices actually rose a cumulative 8% when he was president. Then on immigration, he said migrants in an Ohio city, you heard, are eating people's cats and dogs. That is a baseless, debunked Facebook rumor, just nonsense. He said Harris is border czar. No, she never was. She had a more limited immigration-related diplomatic assignment. He said 21 million migrants have crossed the border under Harris. That is many millions too high. He said millions of people are entering monthly. There has not been a single month in the millions. He said many of the migrants are from foreign prisons or mental institutions. Even his own campaign has not been able to corroborate that.
Ooh.
On abortion, he said every Democrat wanted Roe v. Wade overturned. That is just untethered to reality. Roe was supported by more than 80% of Democrats. Then he said every legal scholar wanted Roe overturned. A bunch of legal scholars have personally told me that they did not. He said Governor Tim Walz says it's fine to execute babies after birth. Walz never said that, and that is illegal in every single state. On foreign relations, he said 85 billion in U.S. equipment was left to the Taliban. That is a massive exaggeration. The Pentagon says the number is 7 billion. He said Iran didn't fund terror groups under him. Iran did, though its funding level did decline. He said he ended Russia's Nord Stream 2 pipeline. No, he did authorize sanctions, but after it was more than 90% complete, and Russia resumed construction during his own presidency. He said the U.S. has provided far more aid to Ukraine than Europe has. It's the reverse. Europe has provided far more aid than the U.S. He said President Biden took millions of dollars from China. He did not. He added a false claim about Biden getting money from Russia. Again, nonsense. And he said Harris was sent to negotiate peace with Putin right before Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Not only did that just not happen, the Kremlin says Harris has never once even spoken with Putin. Trump said he rebuilt the entire military. He did not. And then attacking Vice President Harris. He said Harris was the first candidate to drop out of the 2020 Democratic primary. There were actually 13 others who dropped out before her. He said Harris previously said she wasn't black. Total fiction. He said people don't attend Harris rallies. Thousands do indeed. He said people don't leave his own rallies early. Some do. And when it came to the 2020 election and its own legal troubles, he said there's so much proof the 2020 election was stolen. There is not. It was not. He said Nancy Pelosi turned down his offer of 10,000 National Guard troops on January 6th. There's no evidence she even got such an offer. It was Trump, not the speaker, who had the power to deploy the Guard. He said no judge even looked at the merits of his allegations about the 2020 election. Some judges actually did, and his side still lost those cases. He said the Justice Department was behind a variety of legal cases it had actually nothing to do with. And then a whole bunch of other lies on a variety of topics. He said crime is skyrocketing. It's actually declining sharply. He said the Central Park Five pleaded guilty. They did not. They were wrongly convicted. He said those men killed someone. It was not even a murder case. He said he saved Obamacare when actually he tried to kill it and then weakened it. He said Harris has a plan to confiscate, quote, everybody's gun. She does not. In 2019, she supported a mandatory buyback of assault weapons in particular, and her campaign says she doesn't even support that now. John?
Wow. All right.
Y'all, y'all. Let me tell y'all. Oh, come on, Vaughn. Now that's fact checking. That link is in the description of this video as well. Y'all check it out. That is real fact checking. He was not playing over there. He was not playing. He ran those facts. Oh my gosh. Amazing.
Daniel Dale, get a drink of water. Get some calories in you.
Y'all, that was amazing. He was not playing. He was not playing. Woo. And here we go. Here's the thing. There will be people that will want to overlook that video because they just have a desire not to hear the truth. They don't want to hear the truth. One of the things he said about this cats and dogs things that everybody's talking about now, these cats and dogs things, that they're eating the cats and dogs. And he said, all of this stuff. And he got a whole bunch of people in this. Even Katy Perry, I think, has something to say about that. I got a video I'm going to show you all about that as well. Jimmy Fallon, I think, did something on that. Jimmy Kimmel did something on that. But he said a whole bunch of stuff about these cat and dogs, and people went crazy. Yeah, Vaughn, me too. When I saw that video, I was like, oh, we running this one. Me too. The cat and dog stuff, we know that he got it from Facebook. And he even said this during the debate. He said something to the fact, well, that's what was on the news. That's what I saw online. And this gentleman in this video said that's something you got from Facebook, and it was not even real. And here's the thing, and I would have to question: is my president really looking to Facebook for facts? That's a scary thought right there. Scary. Now I will have to say this: